What did 22 of Australia's most successful entrepreneurs and business owners spend $5,000 each on? The answer is our Empowered Man Retreat. And at this live in-person event, I exclusively coach these men on some of the biggest reasons why relationships break down and why men are unhappy despite their work or business success. This video is going to show you behind the scenes of one of the most important topics we covered, which is the idea of being stuck in the past or focusing on the future. So if you want to make more money, have better relationships, and be happy as a modern day man, then you're gonna wanna watch this video, which breaks down how the past and the future affect true success and relationships. We have talked about who we believe that we are. The quality of your business and the amount of money you make directly correlates to who you believe you are. How you show up as a father directly correlates to who you believe you are as a partner, as a modern day man. Who you believe yourself to be dictates the actions you take. And the only way to get from where you are now to where you want to go is to take action. No one's coming to save you. Whether you're going through a divorce, whether you're stressed out and overworked, or whether your life is amazing and you're stuck in boredom, no one is coming to save you. And there's only one way to go from being the king who is overworked, stressed, tired, overwhelmed, feels like he isn't good enough, and is constantly chasing more, to the man who has it all. And that's to understand how to turn this into a game. Life is a game. And this is how the game works. The rules are very, very simple. On this side of the equation, you have a thing called birth. Now, we could go a bit deeper and talk about past lifetimes, but for today's intents and purposes, we have point A, which is birth. Then we have point B, which is a point we're all going to achieve and get to. No matter how unworthy you are, you're going to achieve this: death. And somewhere on this timeline, in the here and now, as you hear me now, you simply are. For those of you that don't know, my name is Toni, versic, and I've coached over 500 successful men using the Empowered Man method, teaching them how to have true success without sacrificing the connection to your wife, your kids, or yourself. You are not Salil, Lance, James, Adrian. You are not who you believe yourself to be. You simply exist. Who you believe yourself to be is a fucking fabrication. It's a story. It's a story built upon what your dad did or didn't do. Your mother abandoning you. Your father working so hard so you thought that's what you're supposed to do. Who you are today, who you believe yourself to be, has nothing to do with who you truly are. It has everything to do with your past experiences, your traumas, and what has led you to this moment in this present moment. That is it, right? And we have two sides to this equation. We have the here and now, the present moment. We have the past, and we have the future. This is the only thing that really exists. It's the only thing that really exists. What I just said, this is the only thing that really exists, it no longer exists. And as I'm saying this now, nothing's existing. I feel like I'm on a trip. If you've ever done psychedelics, that's how I feel right now. Because as I'm talking, what I'm saying does not exist. Every moment, millisecond by millisecond, you're with me is what's real right now. Everything else is in there. It's in your mind. It's in your mind. And what's really cool is you get to choose what's in your mind. You get to choose consciously what you focus on, where you go, and what you do. In the past, in this game of life, that we all get to win and reach the end with, in the past exists trauma, experiences, positive and negative, depression, sadness, hurt, guilt, shame. Most of the time, these things exist in the past, correct? You don't go into the future and go, man, I'm depressed about what hasn't happened yet. You can, if we get nitpicky. There's also positives here.
There is happiness, gratitude, joy, remembering my wedding song, my wife walking down the aisle, my daughter holding her for the first time. This is the past. This is the future. Fear, anxiety, stress, overwhelm. These things are future-based, right? Anyone here get stressed, anxious, triggered? Because you're thinking about what could be, and in that moment, you're creating something that doesn't actually exist. When Gary considers his options and Dean considers his options for work, that moment doesn't exist yet. But we replay the scenario over and over again, and we create situations that aren't real. Has anyone here done this before? What if I'm alone forever? What if I go on a date and somebody, rejects me and that happens 10 times? What if I never find love again? What if my kids don't love me? We start creating these stories that don't exist. The future is a place of anxiety, fear, stress, and overwhelm. The past is a place of trauma and pain. It can also be the opposite. The past can be a place of gratitude, of wisdom, of joy, of abundance. And the future can be a place of excitement. It can be a place of fun. It can be a place of love. The difference between these two areas, past, present, and future, is who you decide to be now. Because that's all that exists. That is all that exists. So whether your goal is to repair a relationship, whether your goal is to just have way more sex in your current relationship, we all want a bit of that. Whether your goal is to make a lot of money and be successful, really successful, and lead your family, or whether you just want to be a great dad or a great partner, you get to learn how to win the game, not by dying, because we all get there. The winners in the game are the ones who can come back to this moment as frequently as possible. They are the happiest people on the planet. They only use the past to learn and to grow, and they only use the future to get excited and to use it as inspiration and internal motivation to get more of what they want. Who would like to be that type of person? Say yes. Yes. What the fuck was that? Say yes. Yes. You get to choose. Now think about this. We've spent 7.5 hours talking about what? Yep. And have you realized with massive awareness how much we've shone a floodlight on the amount of shit in each and every one of our pasts? Now, before you walked into this room and into this venue, was that there? Well, did it exist? Was it present? Was it somewhere within you before you walked through the door? It was somewhere within you because you held it in. It only existed because you held it there. Are there things in your past that you don't remember that you just let go of? Cool. How'd that happen? You forgot it? Or you learned the lesson so you don't need to reference it? You let it go. You let it go. Right? There's no pain. Exactly. You can remember it, but you remember it from joy and gratitude. I remember my breakup now. I'm so grateful for my ex, Anita, for breaking my heart, because now I have Talia and Rosie. We've spent most of our lives, most of us in this room, in the past, thinking about what could have been, should have been, would have been with my mother, father, sister, brother. And we spend so much time in the future anxious and stressed about where we should be and how we should show up and how our lives should look and how we're not going to be good enough, and we just create stories. There's stories about what was and there's stories about what will be. And every second we spend in those stories is a second we're not actually winning the game, because the only way you win the game of life is by living the game of life. So do this right now. Look around the room and notice something you haven't noticed before. Yeah? Like these rafters, they've got like little lines between them. When I was a boy and I wasn't worried about the future, that would have been amazing. When Talia sees something she hasn't seen, she sees it with wide-eyed wonderment. She thinks it's amazing. So a task for you tonight, before I give you your action steps to finish the day, is I want you to spend the next 2 days, tonight, tomorrow, and the day after, in wide-eyed wonderment. I want you to look at everything. I'm going to use that word, everything, and be amazed by it. That couch you're on, be amazed by the fact that it's fucking comfortable. Be amazed by the fact that all these men have heard your pains and problems, and they haven't judged you. They've accepted you, and they love you. They love you for what you've given them. Be amazed by the fact that the rain fucking stopped and we can hear myself speaking. Be amazed by the fact that despite what's going on with your wife, your children still love you. Be amazed by all these little things, because when you're in amazement, you're in the moment. And when you're not in the moment, you're in a place of positivity from the past and positivity in the future. Because one day, you will not be able to drop your kids off at school. One day, you will not be able to put your arm around your daughter or your son or your partner. One day, you will be dead. And that is a horrible, horrible thought, but it's also a very powerful, empowering, and uplifting thought. If you choose to win the game of life, live in the moment, deal with the past, get excited for the future. Can I get a hell fucking yeah? That's exciting, right? So I will leave you with that. Tomorrow's not promised. I watched a man die in front of me once. I watched him. I was at a boxing class. He was an overweight guy. He had a family. And I saw him slump to the ground and pass away in front of me. And from that moment on, I was so scared of death. I was so scared of it. I've dealt with that through some special types of mushrooms. But despite dealing with that, I'm no longer scared of death. I'm scared of not living. I'm scared of being in pain for longer than I have to be. And I'm aware and I know that I get to choose how I show up in all the key areas of my life: health, wealth, and relationships. And you have that same power. Did you not see that today? Did you not see that today? You have the power to be vulnerable, and therefore, once you have awareness, you have the power to change what's going on.
I hope you got some value from this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, and I'm about to share with you 2 tools that you can use to win the game of life. Before I do that, hit the subscribe button as well. We release videos like this every single week on how to become a better man. Now up here, you're going to be able to find a video on how to control negative thoughts and feelings. This is going to impact this game of life. And down here, there will be a video on how to communicate effectively with your partner. Go and watch those videos and make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you for the next one.